ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
We are ready to go. It's your Monday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. Open text lines throughout the show. Our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. We've got a lot to get into today, of course, with the new week. We're just a little bit closer to hopefully having some answers. Still waiting on an official announcement that we've got an athletic director for Marshall University. So that's the one that I'm still waiting on the most. We're going to have a busy week. I've got coming up on tomorrow's show, just kind of the pre-sell. Julie Folks is going to join us tomorrow, Marshall's women's basketball coach. So she'll tell us about the latest with her team, a few signees, announce her program. So we'll leave that to tomorrow's show. But there's a lot going on, and we are a few days without baseball, at least in person. Tri-State Coldcats, the weather over the weekend. The great thing about having baseball is the fact you get to go to the ballpark. You know, you'll have weekend games and you get a chance to go out and catch a couple of games. And then the bad thing about baseball is it's played outside. It's in the middle of the rainy season, and we just had multiple rain delays. The weather doesn't look much better. Thankfully, the Coldcats are on the road. Today is an off day. Monday's going to be off days for the league. But the Coldcats dropped 2 games on Sunday at Jack Cook Field to the Greenville Flyboys. 7-1, which was a completion of the Friday game that got suspended, and then 9-4. So on the road tomorrow, playing against Pulaski. You can catch that game. Those games are going to be streamed on the website, Tri-State Coldcats. So you can watch those road games. And, of course, don't forget, when the Coldcats are home, you can listen to the games right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Baseball as well. The Cubs got the better of the Pirates yesterday, 3-2. Reds beat the Tigers 8-4. And then the Guardians lost. The Mariners beat them 6-0. So everyone's off today. It's okay. We had Father's Day yesterday, so some baseball. You know, the one thing that I thought that both leagues should have capitalized on, it was Father's Day yesterday, and belated happy Father's Day to everyone out there. The one thing that I thought that both leagues really missed capitalizing on Father's Day. How great would it have been to have an NBA game played on Sunday on Father's Day, or a Stanley Cup game, a hockey game played on Father's Day? And so tonight, Game 5 of the finals. Series is tied 2 games apiece, so we've got a series. Indiana's at Oklahoma City. And since we don't have baseball today, we've got that game coming up tonight. We'll go on the air at 7:30. You can listen to it here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And, of course, you can follow along. The series is going to be on our sister station as well, Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. And I tell everyone, if you want to listen to both stations, get the app. It's available. You can get the link on our website, WRVC.com. It's free, and you can listen. Actually, if you've got our app now, you can listen to both stations. There's a sidebar. If you open up that side menu, and you can see other stations, you can listen to Cat Sports in our app, and it'll just switch over. So you've got options there, and I encourage everyone to do that. But we got basketball coming up tonight, and then we're going to have hockey tomorrow. And again, that's going to be on our sister station, Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. So a couple of things I want to talk about today. And, of course, it's open text line, so that means you get a chance as well to throw some things out there, and I hope you do. But a couple of things I want to talk about today. Coastal Carolina continues doing business, right? Coastal Carolina beating Oregon State 6-2. The Chanticleers have won 25 straight games. Arizona got eliminated by Louisville 8-3, so Arizona is out. Can you believe? Probably you can believe, to be fair. If you have been following Coastal Carolina baseball over the last few years, you know it's one of those best programs of the group of 5. It's a program that now has 25 straight wins. It's going to be in the national semifinals. That game played in front of a crowd of 24,490. Not only we're talking about the regular season and tournament champion, we're talking about a team that I thought Marshall was actually pretty competitive with in many ways. It was going to be a tough hill for Marshall to climb, and I thought Marshall was competitive. I'm not looking for participation trophies here, and I'm not looking for moral victories, but I feel good about Marshall baseball knowing that Marshall is competitive with a team that could possibly win the national championship. This is a team that has been to the mountain. 55-11 now. Winning percentage of .833. The Chanticleers are the second Sun Belt team to compete in the College World Series and the second to advance to the national semifinals, joining Louisiana's 2000 team. Coastal Carolina is also making its second all-time trip to Omaha, with the other coming during the 2016 national championship campaign. Outstanding for Coastal Carolina. And this is a program which Marshall is competitive with. And you got to feel good about Sun Belt baseball. You got to feel good about Marshall's place in the Sun Belt. And I'm looking forward to hoping and seeing Marshall. It's sort of 50-50 right now. I'm hoping Marshall can get to that point where it's challenging, and I think Marshall can challenge. It's 50-50 for me right now. Yeah, part of that's okay. There's a lot of work to do. And part of that's, Marshall's in a good spot right now. In the league, finishing the regular season 4th, that's all right. With teams like Coastal Carolina, that's going to be a tough hill to climb, but at the same time, you know what the standard is. The standard's in your own conference. And so I think it bodes well for the Sun Belt. It definitely shows that the Sun Belt, in many regards, surging. Soccer, for example. Marshall's right there at the forefront of that. Baseball. Coastal Carolina right now leading the charge. And you look at opportunities like that to kind of move the conference forward. Now, we know ultimately the prize is football. We know ultimately that the prize is revenue generated from football, television dollars. We know all of that. And so that's a big deal. And speaking of revenue generated by football, another big deal is coming up. More possible realignment. How many dominoes are going to fall? Because the other thing that we're going to talk about today is Texas State. Texas State, a heavy favorite. Pac-12, Texas State. This marriage could come about. And if it's going to happen, it better happen before July 1st. And I'll tell you why when we continue. At the same time, we'll get the text line open now, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. And we'll do that at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Long story short, Texas State going to the Pac-12. Expand upon that. What's that mean? What's that mean for Sun Belt? What's that mean for Marshall? And, of course, if you lose a member, you got to talk about replacements. There's a favorite out there. It might not be your favorite, but it is a favorite. We will talk about that team, that program, and we'll hear from you. What do you think about the name I'm going to throw out? Get the text line ready. We're going to hit that here in just a minute. when we continue with today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hurt at work? Tom Boggs is here for you in Huntington, and he's brought the expertise of Warner Law Offices with him.
Call 345-6789.
Dog Dazzle 2025. It's a Huntington Tri-State summer tradition, and it all kicks off Thursday, July 3rd at Harris Riverfront Park. Dog Dazzle 2025 featuring Matt Stell. Plus, special guest, Madhouse. And don't miss the Big Sandy Superstore Furniture Fireworks Show, lighting up the sky. Gates open at 5 p.m. Enjoy inflatables, ice-cold drinks from the Clark's Pump and Shop beer tents, food trucks, and family fun all night long. Dog Dazzle with Matt Stell. Get to 937thedog.com for free ticket locations. Dog Dazzle 2025 with Matt Stell, Thursday, July 3rd. Presented by the City of Huntington, Cabell County Commission, Blinko Glass Company, Dave & Buster's, Little Caesars, Wendy's, Great Outdoors Marine, Miller Lite, Twisted Tea, Comart, University Ford, One Way Septic, White Claw, Michelob Ultra, Busch Light, Kendrick Communications, and 93.7 The Dog. Dog Dazzle. Kick off your fourth with a bang.
I'm Nori, and when I was young, my mom opened our home to someone who needed a secure and safe place. She taught him what it was like to have someone care about you, having dinner at home or going out to eat together.
In West Virginia, families open their homes every year to adult family care.
Some folks need a little extra help, but everybody deserves a family.
Call the Department of Human Services and ask to speak to an adult family care home finder at 304-269-6820. Sponsored by the West Virginia Department of Human Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, of the United States, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $1,227,345, with 100% funded by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads? No. T-shirt cannon? I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost, so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the GPS directions first, before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off select paints and stains June 13th through the 23rd. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Refresh your home inside and out with colors that make every space feel brand new. From cozy interiors to stunning exteriors, we've got the perfect shade for your next project. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only, some exclusions apply. See store for details.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Over the weekend, the reporting came out that Texas State, and this isn't new news, it's just elevated a little bit more. It's actually accelerated. There are rumors and reporting that Texas State is now considered to be a heavy favorite to leave the Sun Belt and get a formal invitation to join the Pac-12. And this is possibly going to happen within the next 2 weeks because there are some deadlines that Texas State needs to meet if it wants to make this move. First deadline is going to be July 1st. Texas State has to notify the Sun Belt Conference of its intention to leave for the 2026 season. That's how fast this thing is going to turn around. If you miss the deadline, you're going to double your exit fee from $5 million to $10 million. That right there is going to accelerate that. If you look at how much college athletics are right now in the hole financially, if you're going to make a move like this, you could probably take the $5 million hit, but $10 million right away, probably not going to be as easy because the Pac-12 is not going to pay the $10 million. Majority of that's going to be on Texas State. So there will be, I'm sure, some finances to help. At the end of the day, though, Texas State wants out. Got to do it quickly because it goes from $5 million to $10 million. Now, why is this happening? To catch you back up. The Pac-12 is trying to reform itself, and it needs at least one more football playing school to join by 2026 to be an FBS conference football league. That's it. If you want to be a viable league, you have to have 8 members. Now, Gonzaga doesn't count because Gonzaga is not a football school. Gonzaga is basketball and all other sports. But as far as football is concerned, you need 8. And so the thought here is that Texas State is, of the schools that would be a candidate for this reformed Pac-12, it's the most ready. Because, one, it's been a competitive program in the Sun Belt, and you can see the growth of Texas State. You can also see the fact that Texas State is really invested in its athletic department. And honestly, if you're looking at, for the Pac-12, if you're looking at schools in the Sun Belt, it's the only one that makes sense to me. Of all the programs, if you could poach one for the Pac-12, which one would you poach? Well, it's going to be Texas State because it is the most ready. It also earned the conference championship in the standings. It has won this award, which is basically the All Sports Championship. It's awarded to the top athletics department in the conference, and Texas State won by a convincing margin. There's a point system, so you have to be good all around. You can't just be good at a couple of things. And so Texas State won this in 2019, 2022, 2024, and 2025. So it's shown that it's a competitive top to bottom across men's and women's sports. It's a competitive program. Athletic department is strong. So it's, for the most part, probably the most ready of all the schools in the Western Division. Now, football is going to be strong. Football had a good showing, 5-3 in conference, finished overall 8-5, tied with Arkansas State, and Louisiana, of course, won the West Division. So football is going to be competitive in this newly formed Pac-12. What else really makes this work? First of all, the schools in Texas have been hopping all over the place. And this would be the 9th FBS team in Texas to change affiliation since 2021. So you're seeing this Texas schools realign. And if you're going to try to have a footprint in a state that has a growing population, and you're also not, let's be honest, Texas A&M, probably the big two, right? Am I wrong? I don't know if I need to go further, but there are a lot of Texas schools, and not everyone is aligned with Texas A&M. There's a lot to go around, and the state's growing. The population's growing. They're crazy about football in Texas, and this gives you a foothold. And if Texas State's going to be a competitive program, it's going to attract a lot more attention. And at the same time, while this is good for Texas State, and it's probably going to be good for the Pac-12, and I'm not saying the Pac-12 is going to be all of a sudden a Power 5 league. Might be a Power 4 plus down the line. I'm not even going to go with that nonsense of Power 6. Excuse yourself from this conversation, American. Just excuse yourself now. And don't even dare try to co-opt Power 5. Hey, you know, we used to be at a Power 6 school. Now we're a Power 5. No, you're probably a Power 4 plus maybe. But you're going to see this happen quickly. Now, what's this mean for the Sun Belt? You're going to have to replace Texas State. How do you replace Texas State? Well, you're going to have to look around a little bit, and you're trying to stay with this footprint, this geographical footprint. And so, where do you look to poach? Do you look at Conference USA? Actually, you do. Because I don't anticipate a league other than Conference USA being vulnerable to the Sun Belt. I don't see anything happening between schools in the American and the Sun Belt. Get those dreams out of your head now. We're not going to see Marshall and East Carolina in the same league. However, we could see a school from the Sun Belt that is now in the conference that Marshall used to be in, Conference USA, come back. You can see a Sun Belt school that's now a Conference USA school come back. Western Kentucky, right? Not really. The name that has been thrown around has been Louisiana Tech. So Louisiana Tech might be the next to go. Would you want Louisiana Tech in the Sun Belt? If you're a Marshall fan, would you rather see the league go towards a school like Western Kentucky? And so Louisiana Tech has been rumored to be the target of the Sun Belt. At least Pete Thamel was speculating that it could be Louisiana Tech. Here is what Louisiana Tech President Jim Henderson said today. Quote, "We don't take stances on rumors, particularly when those rumors are based in layers of speculation. We always do what is in the best interest of Louisiana Tech and Louisiana Tech athletics." Nothing official has been spoken in public. Again, the speculation begins with Pete Thamel's reporting. And so if you see Texas State accept and offer an invitation to go to the Pac-12, then that's going to leave a vacancy. And where do you fill that vacancy? You're not going to poach anyone from the Mid-American Conference. Let's keep that in mind. Would you love to see Ohio come? Yeah, sure, right. Marshall could have this renewed rivalry with Ohio, but you're not going to see that happen. Instead, you're going to see, I believe, Conference USA get poached. Now, the reason a lot of people that are following this are leaning towards Louisiana Tech is because of the fact that the geography makes sense. It makes sense. Western Kentucky probably serves some of the schools in the East a little bit better. And Louisiana Tech fills that void in the West. Louisiana Tech's athletic director, Ryan Ivey, addressed this speculation as well today. He said that conference realignment is always a thing. It never truly goes away. He added, I've said since I first got to Tech, our main responsibility is to be the very best we can be right here. And then in the event that there are potential opportunities, we have to evaluate them in the best interest of Louisiana Tech athletics and obviously on behalf of the university. That's about all I can say. So he was asked, has Tech had conversations with the Sun Belt? And that's what he said. I have conversations daily with colleagues across multiple conferences to try to understand what is going on and to try to best position Louisiana Tech athletics regarding the changing landscape of the industry. He also added, sure, I've had conversations with people in the Sun Belt, but it has been about a ton of things. We are just trying to understand what other conferences are doing regarding the changing landscape of this industry. What do you think? Now keep this in mind, if Texas State is invited to the Pac-12, it's a yes because you don't offer the invitation unless it's a yes. So then next thing you know, you're looking for a new member. And then you have to find out who's available, who's willing to come. You got to talk to these athletic directors. And so I don't think you're going to have an unbalanced league. You're going to try to make that decision sooner than later. You probably already are in conversations like, okay, if this domino falls, will you be ready to go? And if you accept the invitation, you could be ready to go by the 26-27 season. And obviously, if you're Louisiana Tech, you're going to have to hand over some cash, 2 years of distributions. You got the remaining years on the grant of rights signed by all league schools in 2023. That runs through 2028. So the estimation thrown out, $5.5 million. Now, I don't think the Sun Belt is going to be helping with $5.5 million. It's going to be $5 million to the league if Texas State bolts, and then you bring Louisiana Tech in, and I don't think you're just going to hand them $5 million to do this as well. And remember, Tech was a member of the Sun Belt 1991 through 2001, and then it jumped and went into the Western Athletic Conference, and then it joined Conference USA in 2013. So there's a history there with Louisiana Tech. Now, with all this speculation, the question for me remains is, if you're a Marshall fan, this really doesn't impact you as much because this is West. Now, you have to travel, and I think some people like traveling to Texas. Not everybody, but you have to travel, obviously. And so that's just part of it, and that's a big part of it financially. Does this signal that we might see some more dominoes, just a few dominoes here or there? Because remember, Memphis is one that I think the Pac-12 would love to have, but it just doesn't make sense for Memphis. Financially, probably not. Travel, probably not. Memphis wants to get into one of the power conferences and be on this side of the Mississippi, I would agree. Our side, the East Coast, West Coast, it depends on where you're at. Texas State, this makes sense for Texas State to be okay with a move toward a West Coast-focused conference. For Louisiana Tech, it would be one of the Western members of the Sun Belt. We'll talk more about it. Get your text in. If you could look at the board right now and go, okay, Texas State's going to be off the board, which school makes the most sense for the league, and then which school do you want? It doesn't have to make sense, but if you could just throw out an invitation and say, look, come on board, we got a spot. Which program would you like to see added to the Sun Belt? Our text line this hour is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
It's the Grand Slam sales event at Ironton Automotive, and you're up to bat. Drive one out of here with unbeatable deals on winning lineups of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Slide into a new ride today with easy financing, top dollar trade-ins, and home run savings that'll have you rounding the bases in style. Don't wait, these offers won't last forever. Visit 2125 South 3rd Street in Ironton, Ohio, or online anytime at irontonautomotive.com and score big before this event heads for the fences.
Get organized with great storage solutions from Menards. The Masterforce 4-tier industrial duty shelving unit is a storage solution designed to provide unmatched durability and stability to your workspace. Each shelf supports up to 3,000 pounds. Keep your workspace organized and clutter-free with the Masterforce 4-tier industrial duty shelving unit. On sale now. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Giovanni's 20th Street is the place to be before, during, and after the game. 14 great beers on tap, plus classic Giovanni's pizzas, pastas, calzones, sandwiches, and wings. Never miss a minute of the action with 10 TVs now at Giovanni's 20th Street. And Giovanni's 20th Street has never looked or tasted better. Under new ownership and management. Dine in, get it to go, or have it delivered. Order online at Giovanni'sPizzaPower.com. 20th Street Giovanni's, right on Marshall's campus, across from Edwards Stadium.
Cosby Construction of Ashland has been serving the tri-state for their concrete needs for the last 20 years. Cosby Construction specializes in driveways, sidewalks, pools, stamped decorative concrete, asphalt services, and more. Cosby Construction is licensed and insured and has a reputation for delivering top-notch service. Call Cosby Construction for your next project, 606-393-1795. Find Cosby Construction on Facebook and Google. What can Cos do for you?
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a pair of O'Neill Cruz Superman socks. That's right, Pirates fans, it's Superman Day at PNC Park on Sunday, June 22nd, when the Pirates face the Texas Rangers at 1:35 p.m. Get to the ballpark early to enjoy Family Fun Day festivities on Federal Street. Plus, all kids 14 and younger will receive a pair of O'Neill Cruz Superman socks, thanks to C&M Play Studio. Get your tickets today at pirates.com/familyfundays.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. We carry the largest in-stock selection of Hunter ceiling fans. They provide consistent comfort all year round and also help reduce energy costs. Right now, save big on Hunter ceiling fans when you shop at Menards. View our entire selection of Hunter ceiling fans today on Menards.com. Plus our weekly flyer with plenty more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code,
Summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing a schedule,
and responding to Jim's long emails, leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC at dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
This is Mayor Patrick Farrell. Summer in Huntington has always had a special energy, but this year feels different. Families are out walking, neighbors are reconnecting, and more folks are spending time downtown. We're a city focused on what matters. Dog Dazzle is your chance to soak it in. Enjoy fireworks, food, music, and a night by the river that brings us together. Join us July 3rd at Harris Riverfront Park. We'd love to see you there.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
What? Why? Just wait for the inheritance. We've definitely got a rich uncle somewhere. We're one call away from the winner's circle at the Derby, dinners with multiple forks, a vacation home in the country, using summer as a verb.
You don't actually think that, do you?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks for joining us for this Monday edition of The Drive. Our text line this hour is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So we've opened up the text line. We've been talking about potential conference realignment once again. Reporting indicating that Texas State could be leaving for the Pac-12. An invitation could be coming in the next couple of weeks. So that leaves a vacancy in the structure of the current configuration, 7 East, 7 West in Sun Belt. So a lot of speculation is Louisiana Tech could possibly be snapped up, add the school, call it a day, move on with the league. What do you say? 304-396-TALK. Again, 304-396-8255. First up, texter says, Paul, Louisiana Tech does not interest me from the geographical standpoint. Ideally, I wish we could get East Carolina, but I agree that's a pipe dream. Of the choices left, I would like Western Kentucky first. My second choice would be Liberty. Appreciate the text. I would think that my first choice, I'm going to go with the pipe dream. My first choice is East Carolina. Could you imagine? Let's talk about this for a second. Let's absolutely break this down. What if you could convince ECU, you could make it worth ECU's time to take the phone call? Say, look, you be in a league here now, you be in a division with Appalachian State, JMU, Old Dominion, Coastal Carolina, and, oh, by the way, Marshall. You could be in a league with all of these schools. Unfortunately, we're not going to see that because you're going to have to find a way to pay ECU. I think the deal is, $7 million from the American right now? The schools in the Sun Belt right now, about $2 million from ESPN. So $7 million and $2 million. We'd have to see the American collapse. If the American would collapse right away, you're calling ECU up going, hey, okay, we're your lifeline. We'll get you in. Come on in. But let's think about this for a second. Do you want the Sun Belt to start poaching Conference USA now? Or think about this. What if the Pac-12 picks up Texas State and then starts another go after Memphis? Maybe you look at a situation where we're the Pac-12, we need 12. We're not going to be stupid like the other conferences. We can count in the Pac-12. So what if you're the Sun Belt, you just kick back for a while and go, you know what, we're good at 13. We got enough to play. It's going to be a little unbalanced, but we're okay. We can make this work. And so all of a sudden, you sit back and wait a little bit. See what the Pac-12 does. Maybe the Pac-12 starts poaching the AAC a little bit. Hey, we're going to make a run at Tulane again. What if that happens? And then all of a sudden, you're the Sun Belt, and you're pretty strong right now. And you think, okay, we've been pretty strong brand for a little while now, and we're proving our worth to ESPN. And things aren't going to be looking so hot over there in the American, and you're not going to be able to poach. If you're the American, your options are the Sun Belt and Conference USA, right? If you're the American, you're trying to poach schools, and you look at your options. What if you're the Sun Belt and you kick back and go, all right, we don't need necessarily to jump right away. Let's see what the shakeup is. All of a sudden, you don't feel like you have to just jump in and go, all right, Louisiana Tech makes sense. Let's go ahead and get them. Because for me, there's Western Kentucky right there. Keep that in mind. There's Western Kentucky right there. And of all the schools that are in Conference USA right now, if you have to have a team close by, you take La Tech, you take Louisiana Tech. But does that add to your league? Does that increase the value of your league? Or does that just fill a spot? If you want to be smart about this, why are you just looking to fill a spot? You're pretty solid right now. Texas State's going to the Pac-12 if that invitation happens. And that might make more sense for Texas State. And so Texas State gets a few more, dollars, gets to be part of this reformed Pac-12. You look at the map right now, and you got Colorado State, you got Utah State, you got Boise State. Okay, I get that. You have Oregon State, Fresno State, Washington State. Hey, I'm detecting a pattern here. I wonder what that is. I wonder what that pattern I'm detecting here is. I don't know. Is it state? Oregon State, Washington State, Boise State, Utah State, Colorado State, Fresno State, San Diego State, Texas State. I mean, you can't count Gonzaga because Gonzaga won't be a football playing member. And then you have some associate members out there. I'm just focused on football right now. So Texas State joining this league of state schools, and it opens up the Pac-12 to Texas. So there's a foothold in Texas for the Pac-12. Now, if you look at the Sun Belt and you think to yourself, okay, well, you don't have this Texas now. It's a little far-flung. If you're JMU, LDU, you're thinking going, yeah, that's a long trip. But now you look at the map and go, okay, who's out there? And so if you bring in Louisiana Tech, Louisiana Tech's going to sit there with ULM and Louisiana. You're going to have 3 schools in Louisiana. You got 2. Do you need 3? Of course, your Southern Miss, you can reunite some hostilities there. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, great, that's great for the West, but let me throw this out here to you. If you have to go after a school now, if you have to, and you're in desperate need, why not look at possibly Liberty or Western Kentucky more so than La Tech? Why don't you look at that a little bit? The advantage to Western Kentucky is you get back in Kentucky. You get back into Kentucky. Or my thought is, again, why not see how this shakes out? Do you need 14 right away? Is that imperative that you have 14? You just work the schedule out a little different. I think you'd be okay. Do you have to have 14? Or do you just have to have that number and plop Louisiana Tech right there? You got 3 schools in Louisiana. Or you find a school that's going to give you another state. You could have a situation where you could bring Western Kentucky back in the fold. Or you could play this a little long term and go, okay, let's think about either a school like Liberty, if things don't shake out the way we want, or you look at a situation where you see how the Pac-12 operates, and there could be a few more dominoes to fall. And if those dominoes fall, then all of a sudden the board might open up a little bit more. Texter says, Paul, what about Middle Tennessee State? Is Middle Tennessee State going to bring, let's reframe this here. Would you take Middle Tennessee State over Western Kentucky? Would you take Middle Tennessee State over Liberty? If you could pick one of the 4, I would say you would pick Liberty, Western Kentucky, if you're looking at it from our angle. Louisiana Tech, Middle Tennessee. I want Memphis, but that's not happening. Or you could, and again, you could possibly play this out a little bit and see what happens here and what the landscape looks like. And I think that you could see sort of a cherry picking here soon. You could see possibly Memphis. Memphis could get the call. And Memphis might go, okay, you know what? This might be the way to go. This might be the way to go. You could see Tulane maybe getting the phone call and go, okay, this might be the way to go. ESPN might also get involved and show some of the conferences, hey, you know what? If you had this member, this might be more valuable to us. Keep that in mind. We got to hit the break. Come back. We're going to wrap this up. We'll get more of your texts coming up. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Buddy's All-American Barbecue is now in Milton. Enjoy all your favorite Buddy's classics like pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more on East Main Street in Milton. Buddy's All-American Barbecue, the home of great barbecue, ice-cold beer, and killer wings in Huntington and now in Milton.
Dog Dazzle 2025. It's a Huntington Tri-State summer tradition, and it all kicks off Thursday, July 3rd at Harris Riverfront Park. Dog Dazzle 2025 featuring Matt Stell, Plus, special guest, Madhouse. And don't miss the Big Sandy Superstore Furniture Fireworks Show, lighting up the sky. Gates open at 5 p.m. Enjoy inflatables, ice-cold drinks from the Clark's Pump and Shop beer tents, food trucks, and family fun all night long. Dog Dazzle with Matt Stell. Get to 937thedog.com for free ticket locations. Dog Dazzle 2025 with Matt Stell, Thursday, July 3rd. Presented by the City of Huntington, Cabell County Commission, Blinko Glass Company, Dave & Buster's, Little Caesars, Wendy's, Great Outdoors Marine, Miller Lite, Twisted Tea, Comart, University Ford, One Way Septic, White Claw, Michelob Ultra, Busch Light, Kendrick Communications, and 93.7 The Dog. Dog Dazzle. Kick off your 4th with a bang.
Hi, I'm Nori, and over the years, my mother and I have opened our homes to those who need it most, and it's been so rewarding. I bet you didn't know that some adults who have unfortunately been mistreated need a place to call home in West Virginia. It happens more than you know. They may have some physical or mental limitations, and they need your help. Everyone deserves a place to call their own. I can tell you from my experience, it's worth it.
If you have an open heart and want to open your home, Adult Family Care may be the right fit for you. Call the Department of Human Services and ask to speak to an Adult Family Care Home Finder at 304-269-6820. Sponsored by the West Virginia Department of Human Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project is supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, of the United States, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $1,227,345, with 100% funded by ACL HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL HHS or the U.S. government.
Now at Verizon, we have some big news for your peace of mind. For all our customers, existing and new, we're locking in low prices for 3 years guaranteed on My Plan and My Home. That's future you peace of mind. And everyone can save on a brand new phone on My Plan when you trade in any phone from one of our top brands. That's new phone peace of mind. Because at Verizon, whether you're already a customer or you're just joining us, we got you. Visit Verizon today. Price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Spring is here. Clear that pollen and debris with Thoroughbred Express Wash. New members, your first month of unlimited washes is just $10. Any package, anytime. Want the best? Try the Secretariat Wash. Now with Graphene X, advanced technology that protects your car like high-tech armor. Fewer washes, better shine, and long-term paint protection. Plus, enjoy complimentary amenities every time you visit. Join the winner's circle with Thoroughbred Express. Get started at thoroughbredexpress.com.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the GPS directions first, before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We continue on with today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Also, you can find me on X. That is at Paul Swann, and I've got the poll question up now. We're going to run this for the day, and we're going to give you the results tomorrow. Here's the poll question on X at Paul Swann. If Texas State leaves the Pac-12, should the Sun Belt wait or immediately replace them with a team from Conference USA? And here are the four options I'm giving you. Add Louisiana Tech, add Western Kentucky, add Middle Tennessee, wait and reassess in 2026. Those are the options. You can start the poll now. Head on over to X. And if you're not following me, I'd appreciate a follow as well. Thanks for tuning in for today's edition of the show. I'll be back with you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our guest is going to be Marshall women's basketball coach Julie Folks. Looking forward to catching up with her tomorrow. Talk about year one in the books and what the current recruiting class looks like and what she's most excited for among some of the other things we'll talk about. That's coming up on tomorrow's show. If you missed anything today, you can go back and catch it later on our podcast. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for tuning in to today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.